Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and whatever else is watching. My name is Nick, and the gameplay you are currently looking at is from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And I just wanted to give my first impressions after having spent a weekend or so playing this game. And to be honest, I don't think this game deserves the moniker Ultimate. To be a little history on my part. I have played Super Smash Bros., which I thought was okay. I have I obtained Super Smash Bros. Melee from the day it launched, and I enjoyed playing it. I got Super Smash Bros. Brawl on the day it launched, and I really liked that game. Especially Subspace Emissary was something that I really enjoyed playing. Then I got Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and for 3DS. I thought I would be safe because how much I loved Brawl, and I was thoroughly disappointed. I don't think I got even in the double digits playing those two games together. Really, it was such a bore. So when Nintendo announced that they were bringing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate to the Nintendo Switch, well, I was not the most excited for it. Because one of the things that I thought was really bad about the fourth installment was the lack of what Subspace Emissary was. So, hearing about what they had planned for this game initially on the E3, I was not really excited. They talked about that they had all the fighters in there and that was a huge amount of content, along with all the stages and all that music, and to me that's just a wall to look at. It's not the same as a huge amount of content. Because what I liked about Super Smash Bros. Brawl was Subspace Emissary. That mode really was the thing that I longed for, and with the knowledge now that Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Dead or Alive, they all have a good narrative mode in fighters, so it is possible to have a good story mode in your fighting game. However, I was not too certain at the E3 that this game would ever get a story mode, especially because Sakurai had expressed that he was disappointed that all his cutscenes from that story mode ended up on YouTube. So that's why was also the reason why he did not add a story mode for Wii U and for 3DS. Which in my opinion was pretty much the worst decision that it could make, because that made the worst installment that Super Smash Bros. Ever had. So my hopes for this game weren't high. However, the last direct that they showed off the adventure mode called World of Light, with an epic trailer where pretty much the entire cast of Super Smash Bros. Brawl, with the exception of Kirby, was pretty much killed off, and this exceptional wonderful song that made me hyped up for this game, because this looked like a story mode that I could delve into. This was the first time I actually thought, hey, maybe this game is worth buying. Then I bought this game. Well, overall I can say this is a solid fighter. This is a solid fighting game. It has good mechanics, it works smoothly, it does what it needs to do for a fighting game. It has large amount of large cast of fighters with a large set of arenas, and you can tweak your competitions the way you want it, with stocks, with stamina, with, well, items and all that kind of stuff. You can even tweak your fighters. And I have to say, in that part, it is really solid. It contains 4 modes, this game. The first one is, like I said, the Smash mode. This is pretty much the multiplayer, or just battle things, do some battling, fighting. You have a team battle, you have single battles, you can do a little tournament variety. But, well, that's just pretty much the battle mode. It does what it needs to do. And most people will be doing that. Then you have the classic mode, which is pretty much, or the game and more. It's called Games and More, and you have the classic mode and a little mob battle and training and all that kind of stuff. Actually, what you would pretty much find is the arcade experience. And I have to say, with the classic mode, I am genuinely and favorably surprised. I thought the classic mode would be, again, like always, just a series of battles against random opponents, and then have the, well, have a boss battle against Master Hand or Crazy Hand or both of them, or whatever boss that they event for this time. However, I was genuinely surprised to see that classic mode actually got a sort of narrative element to it. The battles aren't just random enemies. Yes, you can still set intensity and earn stuff. However, when I went to fight with Mario, I got several battles, each battle with different characters, where I had to take up against multiple characters of different franchises. Mario each time had to fight one of the other Nintendo franchises, and then finish off against a battle, well, a battle against Bowser and later Giga Bowser. That was awesome! When I fought with Link, similar thing happened. Well, it wasn't actually a battle against all the kinds of franchises, but it was relevant to, well, Link, the character of Link. And at the end, I got a battle against Ganon, a boss battle. Same with Zelda. Also, again, relevant characters against Zelda, and an ending battle against Ganon once more. I also tried to do Splatoon. And now that I come to think of it, I didn't really notice it earlier, but all the enemies had different colors. So you had kind of the a battle against, how do I say it, the different color of Inklings. It looked like. You also eventually had to fight a great number of Inklings at the end. And then the boss battle from that, well, although the boss itself wasn't really relevant to the Inkling itself, however, with the music and the disco lights that the boss had and how it looked like, it was just like we were repeating the final battle from Splatoon 1 against DJ Octavius, which was really awesome. And that is something I could really appreciate. However, mob battle and all that were, yeah, pretty much that's what the standard thing was. And now that actually the good part of it is done, I have to address a little bit the bad part. Because after I did test out Smash mode and Classic mode, I looked at online and thought, I don't have Nintendo Online, so that one is something I will never be playing. I'm not an online player. So pretty much the last option left to me was the Spirits mode, which contained Adventure mode, which is this World of Light, which should be the narrative, the story part of this game. And after having seen that trailer for it, I was really hyped for it. After having seen how classic mode was a real big pleasant surprise, I thought this could get only better. My suspicions of really actually not being a good game here, well, I thought that I was wrong, and I was ready to admit that, to say that this game was, well, it deserved the moniker of Ultimate, which I thought initially did not. Then I played World of Light. The intro cutscene was not as epic as the trailer did make it seem. It was actually really boring, and I thought at a certain point if my game was broken because there was no sound. And I realized a little bit too late there were subtitles, so I had to view that one in the movies section later on just to know what happened. And well, I played for several several battles, and there is no story here. This is just a set of battles that you go from one battle to another battle, and each battle has a little mechanic that makes it different from things, but it is just a series of challenges. Nothing more. It is just a series of challenge battles. And it is boring as hell. Seriously. The game mode that got me peaked for, well, I want to play this, is pretty much the game mode that really bores me out of my mind at this moment. The game mode that I thought this is where I buy the game for is incredibly boring. Actually, it's the game mode that kinda makes me regret buying this game. And makes me just confirm once more that this is not the Ultimate Smash Bros. It still cannot compete to what I think is still the best one in the series, and that's Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Yeah, it's also, when I play this game, I am not the best player for of Super Smash Bros. Brawl or Ultimate. I'm not the best Smash player. I am ready to admit it. Even I would like to say I suck at it. I'm probably one of the worst players you can imagine. But that's why it makes it even more surprising how I beat some of these challenge fights. Because you have to use spirits, which give you a little bit of traits that give you more strength or more resilience to some things, and they should be helping you. Most of the time I'm just fighting and I get my rear end handed to me. I get beaten so fast by the computer, it's just not fun anymore. And it's hard to follow whatever is going on screen, because there is so much that I quite often lose track of my own fighter, my own character, that I don't even know what I'm doing. And then all of a sudden my party is still the same. It did not even level up, because you still get experience points from the previous fight. I win a fight, or win the fight that I had so much trouble with pretty much my hands tied around my back. It's as if the game takes pity on me and just hands me the fight. And that's so awkward. The AI is so all over the place in that regard. Most of the time it is relentless, and then all of a sudden it decides, oh, I'm gonna fall for the same damn move all the time. I'm just spamming the same move, the same smash attacks over and over, and suddenly the AI falls for it. And that's so weird about it, making it that more frustrating when I go through the world of light. Okay, the AI is also relentless when you get to unlock a character. However, it's not that relentless. At least I know what I'm doing when I'm fighting in the other modes, but not with the world of light. It's just way too hazy, way too confusing, and it doesn't make any sense. And then there is another thing that I think is something that makes this game not the ultimate Super Smash Bros. Because one of the things that I really liked about the previous installments was the trophies. With these trophies, actually I didn't went out collecting them because there were way too much, but the trophies that I did got, I always appreciated. And I can understand that they don't want to spend time on modeling all the characters, several hundred characters for trophies or something, and that they want to swap that in with these spirit things that are just images, flat images of concept art that they have for these characters, which is pretty much easier to implement in this game. And I don't mind that they did that. However, there is one essential piece to these trophies that they did not bring back. And that is the encyclopedic part of these trophies. There is a little trivia or historical description with each trophy about these characters. About the games that they came from, where they are pretty much originated. You have many things, and that's how many people also got acquainted with several games. For example, Fire Emblem would not be in the West if Marth and Roy did not end up in Super Smash Bros. Melee and they had that description that they came from Fire Emblem. Because of that, people got interested in those games. And it became one of, well, Nintendo's biggest franchises at the moment. After Awakening, Fates and Echoes. We can await a new installment for the next year. And that's so strange. Because there are so many characters here that have that look so interesting and that would have such interesting encyclopedic entries, and they completely got rid of it. They removed one big essential part of Super Smash Bros. What made it the biggest and the best crossover fighting game, because you don't just get the characters, no, you get information, you get a history with them. And that's gone. And just because of that, I think this game is not the ultimate. And it also kind of makes me regret buying this game, because parts of it, the story, the trivia, the encyclopedic part, is what I really liked about Super Smash Bros. And they totally removed that. It's really sad to realize that the arcade part, which has never been known to have a narrative element that was just a series of fights and then eventually a boss fight, has more of a narrative presence, more of a narrative relevance than the adventure / story mode in this game. And that's such a bad realization. That's so sad. Henceforth, I don't think this is the ultimate Super Smash Bros. Game. With this game, I think also because there are so many characters, and actually all the characters that were previously featured in a Super Smash Bros. Game, I think Nintendo made this game primarily for esports. For the esports scene, for the fighting competitions. And people can now play with their favorite characters, with their favorite fighters. And because of this tournament part things, and also the online multiplayer part, I really think that this is mostly created for the esports scene. And that those who had hoped to have some kind of story mode in their fighting game, which fighting games nowadays seem to show that that is really possible, that is actually doable in a fighting game, makes it just that this one cannot. And that is what I find so sad about this game. Henceforth, it may be a solid fighter, and it may be a solid esports game, and good if you are looking for that kind of stuff. It's definitely something I can recommend you for. However, for casual playing, and definitely casual single player game playing, I cannot recommend this game. And this game is therefore far from ultimate and nothing more than just another mediocre entry in the Switch's library. Well, let me know what you think of this game. Do you like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate? Are you still doubting something? Do you agree with me or don't agree with me? Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are, and I hope to see you again in the next video. And until then, goodbye.
Ready? Go!